Hello, my virtual friends. Welcome back. Today is February 15th, 2021. Today in reading, we are going to talk about your Spelling 16 list. We're going to review some of your poetry elements. You are going to need a paper and pencil to make any notes that you need for today's assignment. And we are going to be reading chapters 19 and 20 of Because of Winn-Dixie. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about your book study assignment and your poem for today. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so Spelling 16 list, here it is. I'm going to go ahead and pronounce it for you guys so that you can hear it read aloud. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so number 1 is scrubbed, scrubbed. Number 2 is listening, listening. Number 3 is stunned, stunned. Number 4 is knitting, knitting. Number 5 is wandered, wandered. Number 6 is beginning, beginning. Number 7 is chatting, chatting. Number 8 is bothering, bothering. Number 9 is quizzed, quizzed. Number 10 is suffering, suffering. Number 11 is scanned, scanned. Number 12 is ordered, ordered. Number 13 is answered, answered. Number 14 is upsetting, upsetting. Number 15 is canceled, canceled. So before I move on, I want you guys to look at these spelling words and notice what is similar and different about them. What about them catches your eye? What do you see keep happening? What is going on with these words? So go ahead and take a second to pause the video and look at these words to see what stands out to you. So hopefully you guys noticed the fact that these words either ended in ed or ing. So this will be able to help you as you guys are completing your spelling practice work or your Spelling 16 test at the end of the week. Let's go ahead and move on to your poetry elements. So I want to review some of your poetry elements and review some things that will also come into play that you guys should have in the back of your noggin, but we're going to go over it regardless. So I'm going to talk about homophones and multiple meaning words first. So in multiple meaning words, this is the one that I have been testing you guys the most because it is a little bit harder to find multiple meaning words rather than homophones, I feel like. But, you know, whatever is hard for you may be easy for somebody else. Whatever is easy for you might be hard for someone else. So do not worry. This is why we review things. So I want to keep reviewing these things with you guys just to make sure that we keep up doing the amazing work on identifying things in our poetry. So let's go ahead and start with homophones. So homophones, those are the words that they sound the same, but they have different spellings and meanings. So just like a pair of socks and a pear the fruit, or I won a trophy, or my sister is turning one. And then C and C, you, aunt, male, right, hair. All of these words, they sound the exact same when you pronounce them, but they're spelled different and they have different meanings. However, when you have multiple meaning words, the multiple meaning words, they are spelled the exact same. They just have more than one meaning. So just like the example plant, a plant could mean the noun, like an actual thing, which is, you know, a living thing with roots, stems, and leaves that you can find outside. And then there's also the verb, which is an action, which is to place a seed in the ground so that it can work, that it can grow. So there's the action of you planting something, or there is the noun of a plant that grows. It's a living thing. So now I want to review two things that you guys should already have in your noggins, but if not, it's okay. This will be a good refresher and a good quick way to recognize these two things. So synonyms and antonyms, my friends. I'm going to start with synonyms. So synonyms, these are words that have the same meaning. So the way that I like to remember synonyms is that synonyms are the same. Synonyms are the same. I know that it's quirky and weird to say, but it's how you're going to remember that synonyms are the same. So synonyms have the same meaning. So on your examples over here next to the anchor chart. So the example angry, it also means to be mad. Or like when you answer someone, you're also replying to them. It means the same word. When you say it's cold outside, you're also saying that, you can also say that it's chilly. When you begin something, you also start something. When you fall, you drop. Okay, so this anchor chart is going to be in the Files tab in Teams, and it's going to be in its own folder. So just make sure that you look for this, you guys. If you need any help with remembering what synonyms means and what antonyms means, which I'm going to go over antonyms right now. So antonyms are the words that have opposite meanings. So the way that I like to remember antonyms is that antonyms ain't got nothing to do with it. Antonyms ain't got nothing to do with it. Antonyms ain't got nothing to do with it. So antonyms, they ain't got the same meaning. They have nothing to do with each other, okay? So for example, fast is the opposite of slow. Small is the opposite of big. Bad is the opposite of good. Best is the opposite of worst. And sweet is the opposite of bitter. So like I said, you guys, these anchor charts are all in the Files tab on Teams. They are there for you and available for you if you guys need them. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so that you guys can see. Wow, hello there. Okay. So I know you're like, oh my gosh, Ms. Gonzalez, you're in a different spot in the room. Yes, I know I'm in front of the board. I can't stand sitting in that chair. Anything to get out from under the chair. So behind me is actually the new worksheet that I have for you guys to work on as we are doing our book study. So this is your summarizing worksheet. It's zoomed in a little bit. It's obviously a little bit bigger and got a little bit more to it when you guys open it up on Teams. But I want to focus on this top half because the bottom half is pretty simple and easy. You guys already know how to kind of do that. It's just writing. You guys know how to do that. So I'm going to just go over the summarizing. Maybe some of you have heard of the somebody wanted but so then way of learning how to summarize. All good. So what we're going to do is we are going, oh, I didn't do my cute little so I wanted to do that and I just completely like, I got so excited about doing summary. I forgot to do my cute, there's the book. Oh, we love books. Okay. Like, okay, Ms. Gonzalez, get going. All right. So we are going to walk through doing this together. Okay. So I'm going to explain it just a little bit and then we're going to walk through it together while we read a chapter. I'm still going to read 2. Don't worry, but we're going to practice it together. Okay. All right. So the summarizing worksheet. Okay, so it has this top section for you guys to help you break down summarizing. So because what you ultimately do with summarizing is you write, right? Hey, that's a homophone. So you guys are going to break it down at the top and then down here at the bottom, you're going to be writing. So obviously I didn't just leave you one line. It's just zoomed in. But you guys usually would write a summary. You would write a short paragraph to tell me something quickly about what you read. And that's kind of what you guys have been learning to do with creating labels for your pictures and creating the pictures and now starting to give me the sentences. Well, now we're going to start putting it all together. So I promise, you see, you guys, my madness, it has a reason, okay? So with the summarizing, there are 5 parts to it that I want you guys to help remember. But by having this little easy busy chart right here, it's going to help you every single time we start summarizing. And then you guys will be able to do it on your own without the chart. Oh, yes, I know. Okay. So the first thing that you guys need to look at when you are wanting to summarize something is the somebody. Hello? You got to think, who is this going to be about? Who is it going to revolve around? So the somebody is asking, who is the main character? Who are we talking about? Okay. Wanted Wanted? What do you mean wanted, Miss Gonzalez? What? Well, wanted is the what did she or he want, referring to the main character here. You'll notice that these all go together, and you'll see when we do it together. Okay, so the somebody is the who is the main character. The wanted is what did the main character want? What did they want to do? What was in their mind? What's going on with them? The but, you guys know when someone tells you, but you know there's a problem. That's exactly what this is. So the but on our chart here is what's the problem, okay? So we have somebody who's the main character, wanted, what did the main character want? But what's the problem? What's the problem here? I'm just in the mood to sing, y'all. I'm sorry if I break out in the song. And then we have so. Okay, so how did the character try to solve the problem? So we get the, but this is the problem, so we're going to solve it. Reminds me of a song. Going to try to refrain from it. I'll hold off on that. So we have somebody who's the main character wanted. What did she, he, or he want? But what was the problem? So how are they going to solve it? Oh, that song's going to be stuck in my head all day now. You'll have to ask me later what song I was thinking of. Then, what was the resolution? What was the resolution to the story? So, somebody who's the main character wanted, what did the main character want? But what was the problem? So how did the character try to solve the problem? Then what was the resolution of the story? How did the story end? Okay, see, now I'm like jiving. We got a song going. Ooh, maybe I'll have a song next time. All right, so as we read through the chapters, we are going to practice doing this together, okay? So I'm going to have 2 separate markers for each chapter. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm going to pull you a little smidgen closer. Here's my close-up, y'all. I know. Okay, let me grab 2 markers. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so I have my 2 markers. I will make a label on the side so that you guys know which chapters is which when I'm writing. Of course, my big old head's in the way. Probably should put it on that side. That's what I'm thinking. Let's put it on this side because my big old head's in the way. All right. Fabulous, darlings, fabulous. All right, so I'm going to write chapter 19 in purple in the chart, and then I'm going to write chapter 20 in red in the chart. So I got my purple marker ready, and I got my book ready, and we're going to get started. Y'all know I'm just so excited about this book. All right, here we go. Chapter 19, my friends, chapter 19. Let me get my marker ready here. Beep, beep. You should all be ready with your own utensils. I'm just saying. All right, chapter 19. In the morning, me and Winn-Dixie went down to sweep the pet store. I took a litmus lozenge for Otis. Is it Halloween? Otis asked when I handed him the candy. No, I said. Why? Well, you're giving me candy. It's just a gift, I told him, for today. Oh, said Otis. He unwrapped the litmus lozenge and put it in his mouth. And after a minute, tears were rolling down his face. Thank you, he said. Did you like it? I asked him. He nodded his head. It tastes good, but it also tastes a little bit like being in jail. Gertrude? Gertrude squawked. She picked up the litmus lozenge wrapper in her beak and then dropped it and looked around. Gertrude, she screamed again. You can't have any, I told her. It's not for birds. Then real quick, before I lost my nerve, I said, Otis, What were you in jail for? Are you a murderer? Okay, I'm going to pause there. Yes, I'm really pausing there. We're going to fill out some part of the somebody wanted but so then chart. So who is the main character? Well, we know it's Opal. Hello. We know Opal is our main character. We can also go ahead and write in our side characters. So we know Winn-Dixie's there and we know Otis is there. So we can go ahead and take a guess that this chapter is going to be a little bit about Otis, especially with that question I just cliffhangered on you. Ooh. Okay. So we have Opal as our main character, but it kind of revolves also around Otis. All right. All right. I'll go ahead and keep reading. But could we probably figure out what the wanted is right now? What did Opal want? What does Opal want so far in this chapter? Think about it. What does she want in this chapter? What cliffhanger question did I just leave you on? Otis, what were you in jail for? She wants to know why Otis went to jail. Okay, so she wants to know why Otis went to jail. Could we answer our but yet? But what was the problem? What's the problem? Have we gotten to the problem yet? No, we haven't gotten to a problem yet. Let's keep reading so you can know what cliffhanger I just left you on. Okay, ready? No, ma'am, he said. Are you a burglar? No, ma'am, Otis said again. He sucked on his candy and stared down at his pointy-toed boots. You don't have to tell me, I said. I was just wondering. I ain't a dangerous man, Otis said, if that's what you're thinking. I'm lonely, but I ain't dangerous. Okay, I said. And I went into the back room to get my broom. When I came back out, Otis was standing where I left him, still staring down at his feet. It was on accident. It was on account of my music, he said. What was? I asked. Why I went to jail. It was on account of the music. What happened? I wouldn't stop playing my guitar. Used to be I played it on the street, and sometimes people gave me money. I didn't do it for the money. I did it because the music is better if someone is listening to it. Anyway, the police came and they told me to stop. They said how I was breaking the law, and the whole time they were talking to me, I went on right on playing my music. And that made me mad. It also made them mad. They tried to put handcuffs on me. He sighed. I didn't like that. I wouldn't have been able to play my guitar with them things on. And then what happened? I asked him. I hit him, he said. You hit the police? Uh-huh, one of them. I knocked him out. Then I went to jail. And they locked me up and they wouldn't let me play my guitar. And when they finally let me out, they made me promise I would never play my guitar on the street again. He looked up at me real quick and then back down at his boots. And I don't. I play it in here. For all these animals here. Gertrude, the human Gertrude, she owns this shop and she gave me this job when she read about me. She read about me in the paper and she said it's all right for me to play music for the animals. You play your music for me and Winn-Dixie and Sweetie Pie too, I said. Yeah, he agreed, but you ain't on the street. Thank you for telling me about it, Otis, I said. It's all right, he said. I don't mind. Sweetie Pie came in and I gave her a litmus lozenge and she spit it right out. She said that it tasted bad. She said that it tasted like not having a dog. I swept the floor real slow that day. I wanted to keep Otis company. I didn't want him to be lonely. Sometimes it seemed like everybody in the world was lonely. I thought about my mama. Thinking about her was the same as the hole you keep on feeling with your tongue after you lose a tooth. Time after time, my mom kept going to that empty spot, the spot where I feel like she should be. Let's go ahead and finish our somebody wanted but so then chart with what we know now. So we know that our somebody, our main character is Opal, but it also kind of revolves around Otis. The wanted. Well, Opal wanted to know why Otis went to jail. And what was the problem? Was there really a huge problem with Opal? There wasn't a huge problem with Opal. I mean, really the only problem was that Otis was kind of hesitant. He was kind of like, oh, do I really want to tell her? So our but could be, but Otis was hesitant to share, okay? I'm going to just kind of... So Otis was not sure about telling Opal. So then how did the character try to solve the problem? How did she try to solve the fact that Otis didn't want to tell her? Well, she told him, well, it's okay. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. It's okay. So Opal was fine with it. She was fine with it. Okay. So Opal was fine with, him not telling her, even though, she really did want him to tell her. Well, then what happened? How did we end that chapter? Well, it ended with Otis telling Opal about it, and that now Opal feels much better about knowing what it was. She doesn't feel like she has to be afraid of him. She sees that loneliness, how he's lonely because he loves his music so much and he doesn't get to share it with people anymore. He only really gets to share it with the animals. So then the resolution of the story, how the story ended, was that Otis told Opal and that Opal, she felt more comfortable and she didn't want Otis to be lonely. Okay, so we have all of what we know about in chapter 19. So let's go ahead, grab our red marker here, and let's start reading chapter 20. Here, it'll be fine. We'll read chapter 20 and go through it there as well. Chapter 20. When I told Gloria Dump about Otis and how he got arrested, she laughed so hard she had to grab hold of her false teeth so they wouldn't fall out of her mouth. Woo-wee! She said when she was finally done laughing. That sure is some dangerous criminal. He's a lonely man, I told her. He just wants to play his music for somebody. Pause. So do you see what all we just assessed in chapter 19 is being reaffirmed? They're retelling it to us. They're retelling us the fact that Opal talked about Otis. She told us that she found out why he went to jail. And then how she feels more comfortable, and she's realizing he's just lonely because he just wants to play his music for somebody. Oh, reading is so awesome. Gloria wiped her eyes with the hem of her dress. I know it, sugar, she said. But sometimes things are so sad they get to be funny. You know what else? I said. Still thinking about the sad things. That girl I told you about, The pinched face one, Amanda? Well, her brother drowned last year. He was only 5 years old, the same age as Sweetie Pie Thomas. Gloria stopped smiling. She nodded her head. I remember hearing about that, she said. I remember hearing about a little drowned boy. That's why Amanda is so pinched-faced, I said. She misses her brother. Most likely, Gloria agreed. Do you think everybody misses somebody? Like I miss my mama? Mm-hmm, said Gloria. She closed her eyes. I believe sometimes that the whole world has an aching heart. I couldn't stand to think about sad things that couldn't be helped anymore, so I said, do you want to hear some more of Gone with the Wind? Yes, indeed, Gloria said. I've been looking forward to it all day. Let's see what Miss Scarlet is up to now. I opened up Gone with the Wind and started to read, but the whole time I was thinking about Otis, worrying about him not being allowed to play his guitar for people. In the book, Scarlet was looking forward to going to a big barbecue where there was going to be music and food, and that's how I got the idea. That's what we need to do, I said. I slammed the book shut. Winn-Dixie's head shot up from underneath Gloria's chair. He looked around, all nervous like. Huh? Said Gloria Dump. Have a party, I told her. We need to have a party and invite Miss Franny Block and the preacher and Otis can play his guitar for everybody. Sweetie Pie can come too. She listens to his music. We who? Gloria asked. We, me and you. We can make some food and have the party right here in your yard. Said Gloria. We could make peanut butter sandwiches and cut them up in triangles to make them look fancy. Lord, said Gloria Dump. I don't know if the whole world likes peanut butter as much as you and me and this dog. Okay, then, I said. We could make egg salad sandwiches. Adults like those. You know how to make egg salad? No, ma'am. I said, I don't have a mama around to teach me things like that. But I bet you know. I bet you could teach me, please. Maybe, said Gloria Dump. She put her hand on Winn-Dixie's head. She smiled at me. I knew she was telling me yes. Thank you, I said. I went over and hugged her. I squeezed her hard. Winn-Dixie wagged his tail and tried to get in between the two of us. He couldn't stand being left out of anything. It's going to be the best party ever, I told Gloria. You gotta make me one promise, though, Gloria said. All right, I told her. You gotta invite them Dewberry boys. Dunlap and Stevie? Ain't gonna be no party unless you invite them. I have to? Yes, said Gloria Dump. You promise me. I promise, I said. I didn't like the idea, but I promised. I started inviting people right away. I asked the preacher first. Daddy, I said. Opal, the preacher said back. Daddy, me and Winn-Dixie and Gloria Dump are having a party. Well, said the preacher, that's nice. You have a good time. Daddy, I said, I'm telling you because you're invited. Oh, said the preacher. He rubbed his nose. I see. Can you come? I asked him. He sighed. I don't see why not. Miss Franny Block took on the idea right away. A party? She said and clapped her hands together. Yes, ma'am, I told her. It will be kind of like the barbecue at 12 Oaks and Gone with the Wind. Only it's not going to be as many people, and we're going to serve egg salad sandwiches instead of barbecue. That sounds lovely, Miss Franny said. And then she pointed at the back of the library and whispered, maybe you should ask Amanda, too. She probably won't want to come, I whispered back. She doesn't like me very much. Ask her and see what she says, Miss Franny whispered. So I walked to the back of the library, and I asked Amanda Wilkinson in the best manners my voice could possibly reach to please come to my party. She looked around all nervous and stuff. A party? She said. Yes, I said. I sure would like it if you could come. She stared at me with her mouth open. Okay, she said after a minute. I mean, yes, thank you. I would love to. And just like that, I promised Gloria. I asked the Dewberry boys. I ain't going to no party at a witch's house, Stevie said. Dunlap knocked Stevie with his elbow. We'll come, he said. We will not, said Stevie. That witch might cook us up in her big old witch's pot. I don't care if you come or not, I told them. I'm just asking because I promised I would. We'll be there, said Dunlap, and he nodded at me and smiled. Sweetie Pie was very excited when I invited her. What's the theme? She Sorry, I just have it in my head of how she'd be like, what's the theme? All right. Well, there is... Sorry, I have this picture in my head of her going, what's the theme? Well, there isn't one, I said. You got to think of a theme. She told me. I feel like I'm not hitting my Sweetie Pie Thomas voice. Hold on. What's the thing? I'm not hitting my Sweetie Pie Thomas voice. That's my favorite voice, and I can't get it today. Bear with me. You got to think of a theme. She told me. She stuck her knuckle in her mouth and then pulled it back out. It ain't a party without a theme. Is this dog coming? Yes, got it. She asked. She wrapped her arms around Winn-Dixie and squeezed him so hard that his eyes almost popped out of his head. Yes, I told her. Good, she said. You could make that the theme. It could be a dog party. I'll think about it, I told her. The last person I asked was Otis. I told him all about the party and that he was invited, and he said, no, thank you. Why not? I asked. I don't like parties. I don't like parties, said Otis. Please, I begged. It won't be a party unless you come. I'll give you a whole free week of sweeping and arranging and dusting if you come to the party. That's what I'll do. A whole week for free? Otis said, looking up at me. Yes, sir, I told him. But I don't have to talk to people, right? No, sir. I said, you don't, but bring your guitar. Maybe you could play us some music. Maybe, said Otis. He looked down at his boots again real quick, trying to hide his smile. Thank you, I told him. Thank you for deciding to come. Okay, let me turn my light on, and then we're going to work through the somebody wanted but so thin chart. Okay, all right. So who is the somebody in chapter 20? Well, it's Opal. And it's kind of a little bit of all of our characters, but it's mostly just Opal and a little bit of side character of Gloria Dump. So just like how we did Otis, we'll do Gloria Dump too. So we have, here we go. We have Opal. Can y'all see that? You can't see that. Let's hold on. Wouldn't be a teacher if I didn't have multiple. All right. There we go. Much better. Okay. So then we have Opal and a little bit of Gloria Dump. Okay. Now, wanted. What did Opal want in this story? What did she want? What was she thinking about that she wanted? Well, what sparked the idea of the party? Well, she was reading Gone with the Wind with Gloria Dump. And it made her want to help Otis not be so lonely, so she wanted to throw a party. So Opal wanted to throw a party. Okay. So, but what was the problem? What was there a problem? I think there was two tiny small problems. It's not a huge problem like we're thinking of. It's just kind of a tiny little thing like, oh, like, okay, that could pose a problem. One of them was the fact that she had to invite the Dewberry Boys. We know how Opal feels about the Dewberry Boys, so we know that's a problem, okay? So here we go. So Dewberry Boys were a problem. Even though later it posed not to. And then the second one was the fact that Otis didn't even want to go. Okay, so what did Opal do to fix the problem? Well, the first problem, she sucked it up and she invited the Dewberry Boys. So she invited the Dewberry Boys anyway. I'm going to put DB for Dewberry Boys. Okay, and then how did she fix the second issue with Otis not wanting to come? Well, she offered, what'd she offer? She offered a free week of labor. Then how did the story end? Well, let's think about it. How did it end? She went to everybody and invited them. Not really any problem there. And she got to Otis. She invited Otis. So how the story ended was that she got everybody invited to the party and everybody was willing to go. So everyone invited to party. And she got Otis to go. Well, she got Otis to agree to go. We don't know that he's actually gone yet. We haven't gotten that far. So the whole point of us doing this is because this is going to help us with summarizing. So we just broke down both of the chapters that we read into 5 different sections to help us as we create our summary. So I know you can't really see it very well, but down here in the corner it says write. And all down on the bottom, you're going to have a huge section of lines to write on. What you're going to do is you're going to put all this together and you're going to create me a summary, like an actual paragraph summary, not just sentences, an actual paragraph summary. So where you start is you start with the somebody. So you're going to start telling me, well, in chapter 19, Opal and Otis are at Gertrude's Pets. Opal wanted to know why Otis went to jail, but Otis wasn't sure about telling her. So Opal said she was fine with it. But then Otis told Opal, and Opal felt comfortable and did not want Otis to be lonely. Boom. Do you see how easy that was? That I just created that whole summary over chapter 19? That is the prime example of why we are going to start breaking it down like this so that you guys can put together summarizing. Because, guys, when you take that STAR test, you're going to have a lot of summarizing questions, okay? This is going to be what helps you, all right? So I'm not going to tell you exactly. I'm not going to do what I just did on 19. I'm going to leave it to you. Your assignment today is to go and summarize both chapters. You are summarizing both chapter 19 and chapter 20 on this page. Okay. You may print out 2 pages and do it separately. You don't have to write it all on one page, just like how I did here, but it might help just so that you can see it better. You might write it in 2 different colors, whatever you want to do, or you can print off 2 different pages or write 2 different pages. If you cannot print this page, I want this exact thing on a piece of paper sent to me. Okay, I don't want just your summary on a piece of paper. I want to see the thought process that you followed along and you did this with me, and that you see what notes we have. Okay, I do not want just the summary and that's it. You will get points taken off if you do not have this with it, because this is supposed to help you. You're hurting yourself by not completing this. So somebody wanted, but so then if you have any questions on any of this, my friends, give me a quick message and I will be with you as soon as I can. Your poem today, guys, is going to go over a lot of the wink wink poetry story elements that we kind of reviewed a little bit today. So definitely check out those anchor charts in your files tab if you need help with any of it. If you need any more help, you guys know where to find me. All right, guys, I know it was a long video, but thank you for bearing with me and have an awesome rest of the day. Bye.